Hi, this is Baisakhi and you're watching my channel Magic 9 TV. Today I have a very exciting interview from a lady called Jodie from the United States who has had a near-death experience as a teenager. And how I came to know about her is through a common friend whose name is Janardan Ghosh. I first met Janardan in Kolkata when I was visiting India after many years. Janardan Ghosh is an actor, director, speaker, screenwriter and playwright, a truly ingenious performing artist. He is a man with many talents and creativity. So I was looking for a script writer for a story I had written to be turned into a feature film when I got introduced to him. Then one day he attended a lecture of mine at the Bengal Theosophical Society on death and beyond. Much later, I had travelled out of Kolkata when out of the blue I received an exciting message from him. He was in Japan for a workshop and had met a lady named Jodie from the United States who casually mentioned to him that she had had a near-death experience as a teen. I was even more excited to hear about it. It was synchronicity. I immediately wanted to interview her and compiled a few questions. He was kind enough to conduct the interview with her and get me her answers. In this video, I present to you the answers of Jodie as recounted to Janardan. Stay tuned for the interview. I'm sure you will love what she has to say. Please state your name, age, and where you reside.
Jodie Johnson. I'm 44 and I live in upstate New York.
How old were you when you had the NDE?
I was 19.
Can you tell me what happened to cause it?
I had been hanging out with some friends when they started smoking marijuana with a water bong pipe. They offered me some. I initially said no thanks, but they were having so much fun, getting silly and giggling, that I told them, okay, just one hit, just a little bit. Soon after, I left with my boyfriend to go to the mall. At the mall, I felt very ill, but wasn't sure why, so went back to my apartment. I recall going into the bathroom and vomiting profusely. I couldn't stop vomiting. I was feeling extremely weak. He came in to check on me and I was lying on the floor. I tried to stand up, but I could not even sit up. I crawled on my belly out of the bathroom and into the living room area and felt myself losing my vision, my ability to move or speak. My boyfriend was kneeling beside me. I could feel him take my hand and I could hear him speaking to me. I murmured, "Call 911." He must have done so immediately. I'm not sure how much time lapsed before the paramedics arrived. I lost consciousness.
Do you recall feeling anything or seeing any type of tunnel or lights?
Initially, no. But then, I felt as if I were floating upwards through what appeared to be many, many ping pong balls that were like billows of fluff, weightless. And I too felt weightless. Zero gravity. I just kept going like this. I felt free, happy, safe, comfortable. I had no desire to go back down. It was euphoric.
What happened next?
Evidently, the paramedics arrived and started injecting me with something in syringes, which I had to clean up all the mess after getting home from the hospital, so that is how I knew. They began CPR on me. I was in full respiratory arrest. I cannot recall much except for one paramedic who was female. I can recall her voice as she shouted to whomever else was in the room. She breathed life back into me. Had to be her. She was kneeling beside me, and I could see her from many angles. I was above her, beside her, and behind her all at the same time. I do not recall the ambulance ride nor the hospital stay. It was at least 24 hours later when I opened my eyes in the hospital. My mother and grandmother were in the room. Then my family physician came in and reassured me I would be okay. I asked him what had happened. He said it was a severe case of gastroenteritis. That seemed weird to me. I asked him if he was positive. He said the lab was still running tests. I went back to sleep. Then, that evening, my mom came to see me, and she told me I could go home because I had been discharged. And then she started yelling at me and demanding the truth. She said my doctor told her the lab results came back showing that I had PCP, angel dust, in my system, and that I had suffered a severe allergic reaction to it. I told my mother that this was impossible, that I was not on drugs. Well, she insisted, and we got into a huge argument. And long story short, my friends had laced the marijuana with PCP.
Did you experience any other strange phenomena or see other beings like deceased loved ones or angels?
No.
How about time lapses?
Yes, I lost all sense of time until I woke up the following day in the hospital. The odd thing is, I only recall the floating happening while I was in respiratory arrest. After I started to breathe again, it was just the same feeling as being in bed, asleep at night. During the floating with the white balls that were like ping pong sized fluff, like cotton or weightless balls of white cotton candy, the light that was surrounding them was brighter than the brightest white light you can possibly imagine. Pure white and pure light. You couldn't tell one from the other.
Was the light making the balls that white, or were the balls giving off all that light?
No way to tell which was doing what. No one was with me, but yet it was not at all lonely.
Are you convinced this was an NDA? Have you spoken to others about it?
It was indeed. I have had similar experiences of trauma with brief loss of consciousness, even been in and out of consciousness. Not the same. I have told some people about this. They did not doubt me. I have also used this experience to warn people about drugs. I tell people never to trust friends who offer you drugs.
Tell me about the healing work that you do and if it relates to your NDE.
The NDE certainly opened a portal at first, a portal of curiosity. Future traumas had blown the lid right off the portal, and I have since been able to transcend consciousness now that I know it's possible. I have done shamanic journeying. I can traverse realms, communicate openly with God and the gods. I was brought up Catholic, but was never religious, yet from a young age, I had a deep sense of faith.
Wow! Do you talk to others openly about this? Is it a gift?
I do in fact feel compelled at times to discuss the so-called sixth sense. Have you heard of HSP? It stands for highly sensitive person. I have this trait. I was born with it. I used to see it as a curse. At times I still do. However, it is a gift. It is a direct highway, both directions between myself and God. You see, God is not always seen. God can be seen. But if you are listening with your ears or looking with your eyes for God, I wish you luck. If you stop this type of seeking and still your mind, You will find yourself in deep conversation with God, and you will literally feel His responses. Those responses, I do tell people, and have been doing it more and more. This is how the healing works too. I feel God, the divine love energy, moving through me and into another person. I have been documenting the times I've been a part of miracle healing, both in person and remotely. I feel this is my true destiny.
What would you say to skeptics who do not believe in parapsychology or paranormal phenomena or things like clairvoyance, clairaudience, etc.?
I have absolutely nothing to say to them. Their soul energy is stuck and struggling. It is not my job or yours to convince people of anything. You need to be on your own journey and no one else's. Stop this. You must never try to convince people of truths. The more you do, the further they move from it in the wrong direction. You do skeptics a disservice with this line of rhetoric. There is no such thing as a skeptic. The reality is, a skeptic is simply someone who lives ignorant of the truth.
Do you have a website, a Facebook page, or the likes?
I do. It's in the process of going public.
Do you have anything more to add or anything else that you would like to say?
I have discovered things like remote viewing, a few encounters with paranormal type beings, and dwellings. This is material that has a place in my near future when the timing is right, and I cannot say exactly when, but some very profound life experiences are developing which need to remain private for some time still. I would be more than happy to let you know when that materializes.
Thank you for taking the time to sit with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for your time and efforts as well.
This interview was conducted by Janardan Ghosh. Thank you, Janardan, and thank you, Jodie, for taking the time to share with our audience here today. Namaste.